I still misspell it.
Yeah, you do that. That's kind of your thing.
It is too. I know what I'm spelling, and I don't know, man. I can't help myself.
It looks like Derpy's in the house this morning.
All
Good morning,
right.
everybody. Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is the Dum Yinzers episode 378. I hope you guys have something to talk about today because I am about out of things to talk about.
Nothing fun happened last night.
Nothing fun happened. Of
Still no,
course,
man.
everybody. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they did play last night, and they did win last night, 27-17 over Tampa Bay in their first preseason game of the 2023 season. I got to say, I'm thoroughly satisfied with what I seen last night. I got a bunch of things here we're going to talk about today, a bunch of players, a bunch of plays, a bunch of stuff. Good morning, Derpy.
Derpy. Hey,
DJ did still not score a touchdown.
Calm down.
God.
I'm sorry, the Pirates. No, Pirates.
What
No.
is wrong with you?
No, we're done with the Pirates. No, they don't need the torture.
Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what, this game, guys, again, I have a bunch of things we're going to talk about. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with what I saw. Injury wise, of course, the thing that you're always keep your eye on. The one injury that concerns me was the Keanu Benton leaves the game with an ankle. A few injuries to a couple players trying to make the squad.
The Benton one doesn't look that bad though.
Duke Johnson, and I forget who the other guy was.
That corner, the DB, I think his name
was. One of the corner. Yeah, I can't remember who. I literally just read it right before we came on air, and I forgot.
Again, I mean, these are fine with me. You don't want to see anybody injured, but for what we have going on and, what's moving forward in this team and who's going to make it and who is it, I'm okay with those injuries. And I don't want to see anybody injured, so don't come back at us saying that I want people to get hurt. I don't, but these are good injuries to have if you're, thinking of this team overall as a whole.
Yeah, they're not major injuries. It doesn't seem like they're like major injuries. So that's always a plus too.
That's always a plus. Let me get set up on my board here real quick, just in case.
Just in case. Yeah, it was a it's what you wanted to see last night.
It is exactly what I wanted to see.
Everything I wanted to see out of that game last night.
I'm going to start on the defensive side of the ball. Nick Herbig. Let me tell you something about this guy. When I seen him come in and he took over the game the way that he did, they only gave him 1.5 sacks, but if you've seen the play, he grabbed that guy, yanked him in, and he led that sack.
I tried to tell you.
This guy, he looked like a little TJ Watt. And, if you're paying attention to camp, you hear a lot about him learning a lot from TJ.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a little TJ Watt in the plays that he had to where he blew up a play in the backfield or where he got to the quarterback was very TJ Watt-esque with that speed. This guy,
made it look easy.
Keep his name in your mind because, and the thing, I don't want to say if TJ Watt goes down this year, this guy will be able to step right in and skip a beat. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying this guy really has some potential. Some of these positions, these linebacker positions, these outside positions, we were a little bit concerned about. But I'm going to tell you something. From what I saw last night between Nick Herbig and Quan Alexander with these hits and Mark Robinson, sideline to sideline, Marcus Golden with the aggressiveness. I am not too concerned about the linebacker position too much anymore. You've seen Cole Holcomb all over the place. You know what? I'm not as concerned as I was 2 days ago. I think that I'm, again, a little bit more satisfied with what's going on at the linebacker position than I was. Hopefully that continues to go well. The DB. The thing is, we didn't play anybody. The starters, you didn't have Okunjobi, you didn't have Watt, you didn't have Cam, you didn't have Pat Pete, you didn't have most of our starters didn't play.
Yeah,
and it was encouraging what was done with no starters. again, we don't have to jump down anybody's throat. It is preseason. I understand this, and but for what you're watching for, and it's all we have right now, this defense played well. I thought the line did well. I thought, there was a couple plays where the run got through and, they advanced for about maybe a 9-yard gain. But for the most part, this defense kept the running game in check. This defense was everywhere it was supposed to be. There was no plays that they were totally out of the play. The secondary looked good. The Tampa Bay played their first team pretty much the full first half. They kept Baker Mayfield and company for as much as the first team that was playing. In this defense, they really, really look good. Mike, Derpy, what's your thoughts on the way this defense looked in the first game? It looks to me like they have a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, like you were saying, real quick, Quan Alexander, he was flying all over the place. This is, he wasn't.
I tried to tell you.
He came in, halfway through training camp, and more or less you can tell they're just like, all right, Quan, just find the ball carrier and do your thing. Till he gets acclimated. I just love his aggressive style. Nick Herbig, Brian Baldinger of the NFL Network, he was breaking down some footage today on Twitter, and he posted up on Twitter, and that run play where he collapsed on the line is how he snuck up under the left tackle to come in off the edge, scrape down, and keep it to a minimal gain. Oh God, that was a thing of beauty. It's just like, the guy we got in the 4th round, like he's that guy. He would have went sooner if he was built like a TJ Watt, if he was built like, some of these other outside linebackers or bigger, defensive ends. So we got lucky that, he's an undersized guy, and I don't think he would have fallen that much further if we didn't take him, because he's that guy that you see the talent, you see the ability, but in the NFL, sometimes, if you're just a bit undersized, it's not going to work in your favor. But this guy, I think he's going to be that guy who can use his size, speed to his advantage, to where he might not be as strong, but he's going to be quicker than you off the line.
I tell you what, we're going to walk away. I think, Mike, when it's ultimately said and done, we're going to walk away from this draft saying, you know what, I think we got a couple gems in this, a couple skills in this draft. Yeah. I think that Herbig was a great pick. I think that Washington also, all the way down to, Corey Trice in the 7th. I think that there's a lot of picks that we got in this year's draft that can turn out and become something. I think even that offensive lineman, the 7th round pick, I can't think of his name, out of Maryland, or he even, there's so much good that happened during this game. There's really not a lot to take away and go on and complain about.
There's a couple of those longer runs. It kind of concerned me, but like we said, Hayward wasn't in Ogunjobi.
Yeah. We were day one, game one. I'm not worried about them because the defense wasn't in.
Defense wasn't in. We were playing. They had most of they didn't have Mike Evans. They didn't have Chris Godwin play, but they still had some other good players in there on the offense. And so we fared the way that our front 7 fared the way they should have against. They were playing on our secondary did too against who they had out there. So I thought it was they performed the way they should have, but it was just nice to see, like you said, the aggressive play of Quan Alexander, the Herbig when he came in. I'm gonna really like these guys, Mike. And again, it's a long season. Mm-hmm.
We have a long time till the playoffs talk even starts. But you know what? This
for preseason game 1.
This is a group of guys after preseason game 1 that I can say that I'm excited about watching. It's not just because they're the Steelers, but again, you go down through these players and see what they bring to the table. Mm-hmm. With this Quan Alexander, my goodness, these hits. If this is the way this guy hits, I'm down.
Yeah, I understand why the flag is thrown. It's the new rule, but how much lower do you want the guy to go? He's going to blow it. Either he's going to hit him in the chest or graze the face mask or blow a knee out. I understand you want to protect the head, but also then you're not giving the defenders a chance to make a play. It was a good clean. That's hit.
What the league is doing, Mike.
Yeah, I don't blame the refs. They're doing what they're told to do. They're doing their job.
It's been that way since Brady.
If you pay attention, that's what's going on in this league. It's being turned into an offensive league. It's being turned into a league to where it's going to be very, very little, the old school running the ball. It's very heavy in the passing, and you're going to start to see the table tilt. It's tilting toward the offense in a lot of ways. And to me, by design, I think that's what they want. They want this league to be more exciting, and they want this league to have less people getting hurt and ultimately suing the NFL when their career's over, which I get that. But as a fan, it's a little bit upsetting. I like football. I just love football. Quit changing it. But guys, so many things. Just because we're gonna have to jump over to the offense real quick. Let me see what I have for the offense here. Okay, let's start with the starting team. Can we say that that is exactly what you wanted from your starting look? What happened in that first drive? There's nothing during that drive where you could pull out of it and say, this person looked terrible. That person looked terrible. This person needs to do this. Game 1, series 1, play. That was exactly what I wanted to see. And that was the vote of confidence that I think a lot of people were sitting back this whole offseason saying, man, I hope this offense can pull it together. I hope that Matt Canada, I hope that Kenny Pickett, I hope that DJ, I hope that, like I said, again, game 1, series 1, but there was still a lot of encouraging things I saw. They didn't go to these stupid out in the flat patterns that Canada liked to do with Pickett last year. They really let him go downfield. There was a lot. Like I said, you hit DJ 3 times. DJ had 3 catches. Of course, George Pickens touchdown. There was a Freiermuth catch in there. There was a little mix of everything. And you know what? That offensive line looked damn good.
Yeah, like we said, week 1, game 1, this is what you wanted to see from the offense. You see Canada trusting Pickett more to throw to the middle of the field. Granted, this was against a lot of number 2s on Tampa Bay.
Exactly what we should have been able to do.
We should have done. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Like, I'm not knocking our performance. Right. This is what we should have done against those guys. Yeah. Now, if we underperformed, I would have been worried, but we did.
Everything was clean. There was
they needed to do. So yeah, I have no problems with it. Pickens after the catch was amazing. Deontay, I was hoping he would have taken one step backwards on one of those catches, just as a little tongue in cheek. I thought it would have been funny because I'm that guy. But I like what I saw from everyone. I was concerned, like Najee had one or two plays, and that was it. And he was out.
Jaylen Warren only had 1 or 2 plays. I think they wanted to do that. Yeah. Ultimately, get your toes wet, get your feet wet. And let me move on, Mike, to the guy that stepped up, McFarland. Where did this guy get this speed? Jeez, oh man, he ran all night, all over this defense.
This is how he was in college.
Well, this is the guy that we must want, because this McFarland looks a lot different than the McFarland I seen last time.
Yeah, like last year, even in training camp, he was doing well, and then the regular season started, he couldn't do anything. To me, he looks bigger this year. Like, he added some muscle, added some weight to maybe help absorb those hits, because he was smaller back. He's a fast guy, but I was hyped on him last year in his rookie year. He showed that he can do things in the preseason, but when it comes time to regular season, when he has had his opportunities in the regular season, they haven't been there. But maybe this is the year it all clicks for him, and I hope it does. Yeah, because I think he can be that another change of pace back. He can be the high end, kick it into the high gear and take it to the house.
There's a lot of guys. So many things again about this offense that look good. So many things about this team that look good. I think this team, they have a great mindset. They're playing well together, and they have a chip on their shoulder, and they're carrying it over
100%.
I like seeing it. I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited about it. Again, this is somebody that Mike and I said after the show yesterday when we were talking about who do we want to see tonight? Who's that one player that we want to watch?
We totally forgot about.
Calvin Austin was the guy that I wanted to see all offseason. I wanted to see him all last season. And boy, he did not disappoint. This Calvin Austin.
I apologize. He
has video game speed where you hold the X down.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, you know what I mean? This is what Calvin Austin brings to the table. This is big. This is we haven't had this, guys. This is a luxury player.
Yeah. And
you mix him in with what you have going on, and you send him deep every night. That opens up the field 100%. 100% that opens up the field and allows you to do so many more things on offense by having a guy like this. Keep him healthy at all costs, because he is going to be a weapon, whether he's catching the ball for, these long touchdowns, or again, keeping the offense wide open so we could do many, many different things, because you are going to always have to account for him, follow him, watch him. And if you're doing that, then, there's always going to be something open somewhere else you could pick apart. I love Calvin Austin III.
Me too. I like what I saw there, and when I was going back watching the highlights, just his speed to able to separate from the corner on that touchdown pass was a thing of beauty. And let's not discount that throw. Like, say what you want about Mason Rudolph.
No, it was a great throw.
His deep ball, if you can paint a deep ball, it would have been that pass right there, and a lot of his deep balls. But yeah, Calvin Austin, he's that guy. You line him up in the slot, let him run deep, force a safety to go where he goes. It will open up things underneath, open up things even deeper for you have George running underneath Calvin Austin. You got to cover both their speed. But I like what he can bring to the team. But he had a couple rushes. He had the long pass.
Yeah.
He had over 100 yards total offense, which is,
and his
for a guy like him,
as beautiful.
That's what you want to see.
They were these jet, these little reverses, and when he turns on that speed, man, look out!
I like the way he was used. He 100 yards of total offense from one player. That's huge, because we look for that. Oh, did the running back have 100 yards? Did the receiver have 100 yards? This guy got it. And the two aspects, so I like the way he was used, and be a sign of how they're going to use him going in the future. Jet sweeps when they work. I love them when they don't work. I like everyone else, I want whoever the offensive coordinator is fired. But when they work with a guy like him, you love them. So
absolutely.
God,
offensive guy that sucked. I think there's one guy on this team that sucked.
We all know who. Derby's
Kendrick Green looked really bad.
Yeah.
And the thing about Kendrick Green, on the one drive, his guy blew through and caused a bad play. Also on the same
next snap
drive, he had a holding penalty on a big play. The play got called back. There was a bad snap that he sent 50 yards backfield, where Mason had to go back and fall on it. There was just so many things during the course of that drive alone. I was ready to lose my mind. But the fact that we could use him in a goal line situation out of the backfield is the only thing that's keeping me on the Kendrick Green train. Put him in the backfield on those goal line type plays, whether you hand it to him or whether he's a decoy. I think that's where his value is going to be this year. We obviously found out after three seasons that this guy's value is not going to go up as far as a lineman.
No.
But you know what? A lot of these guys that we brought in, it doesn't matter, because so many of these guys that we brought on in this offensive line, they look so good. And this offensive line, again, this isn't even this is day one, game one. They look like they're gelling. It looked like the guy we brought over, Samolo from Philadelphia, he really took control of this offense. He's the leader, and again, no complaints.
Yeah,
and this is the offensive line.
Yeah, I'm gonna like him and Daniels at both guards, and with Mason Cole can step up his game too. That's a nice interior to have. Then from there, it's just figuring out what you want to do with your tackles. Do you want to slide Dan Moore over to right, have him and Chooks battle for the right, and just let oh my God, Broderick, excuse me, I almost said Darnell Jones.
He looked nice.
let Broderick, just let him at left tackle, let him learn there all year long. And I think the line will be vastly improved from last year. Because we said last year the line got better, but it was bad to begin with, and it improved, but it still has a ways to go. So I do like. I think we're gonna have a nice little interior there. I think Smalu and Daniels are just gonna make Mason Cole better, and we get those three locked down. Get Jones in at left tackle and let the right side figure itself out.
Since last season ended, went into the off season. We had a draft. We signed a bunch of players all the way up till last night, August 11, game 1 preseason. You got to be encouraged about this team in the direction they're heading. They mentioned last night they're kind of carrying this over from last season. They finished 7-2. They tried to build on that. I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged about this football team. I think they're going to be right in it. And there's not been anything to this point to tell me that's not going to be the case. I really think that this team is going to be in the mix this year. They look really good. A couple other things, guys. I got a few things we got to do here. So let me move on. Hakeem Butler, Derpy, your guy Butler.
Yeah.
I kept my eye open for him. He was all right. He had a catch. He had a drop. Still nothing to write home about with this Hakeem Butler.
Yeah.
Also, Darnell Washington had a nice little catch over the middle. He picked up a first down. That was nice. So again, all the little things that you want to see, they came in place. They came to fruition. There wasn't many bad situations where you're saying, "Oh, that's something we got to work on." Of course, there is things you have to work on, but there's nothing that's really standing out. It seems like it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, for like we keep saying, for first preseason game of the year, we saw what we wanted to see from the offense. Yeah, like we keep saying, we know it was the number 2 defense Tampa had out there, but our number 1 play like a number 1 should do against the number 2.
Yeah, that's what
our number 2 defense. Like
we would have struggled, if we would have lost, if we would have.
That's when we would have been
right.
Maybe overly panicking. So that's
I'm definitely not panicked this morning.
Yeah, but we saw the D line. We saw why some of these guys on our D line are number 2s. No offense to them, they're not ready for prime time just yet. But you put Ogunjobi back out there, you put Hayward back out there. That with those,
all the starters
longer runs, we might have had.
If you put all your starters in,
I think
and you plug in the other positions with these other guys that are that always says good things.
A regular player real quick was James Pierre. I thought he didn't
10
have
tackles.
A really good game.
He did good.
He had 10 tackles, but he had some coverage issues. But
10 tackles.
He was like the only one that I was like, oh, come on, James, you're better than that.
Pierre led the team with 10 tackles. Nick Herbig had 1.5 sacks. Liel had a half a sack. It's another guy we wanted to see. Kwiatkowski, 1 sack. He got taken out with an arm injury late in the game. I don't know the seriousness of that. That's the guy from Bethel Park. Hope he's okay. Another thing, Braden Mann and BT Potter, they didn't disappoint. Our 2 special team experiments, Hunter and place kicker, of course. BT Potter gets 2 field goals, plus he hits the extra point on all 3 touchdowns: Pickett's touchdown, McFarland's touchdown, and Austin's touchdown. So he looked good. Braden Mann, again, I think that that's the more competitive position, the punter position. Boswell ain't going nowhere, place kicker. So keep an eye on this Braden Mann in Harvin. I think you're going to see Harvin next week. And that's the battle. That's the battle in the special teams.
That's what I want to see. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
One other thing before we do what I want to do last is I just want to say, did anybody see Kurt Warner's son out there? Cade Warner is a receiver for Tampa Bay.
I did not. I knew he was.
I did not
this year. Yeah,
I think he was like number 15, something like this. Well, they went on to say that it's wild because Kurt Warner's his last Super Bowl loss was in Tampa Bay to the Steelers.
Yep.
And Cade Warner's first game is in Tampa Bay against the Steelers. So I thought that was pretty cool.
If I was Kurt, I would be like, sorry, son, I'm not making it to this game. There's some bad memories here for me.
Okay, this, guys, is what we do every week during football season. We're going to talk about grades. We're going to talk about what happened at each position and where everything kind of landed. So let me start at the quarterback position. I'm going to say I think that Kenny was a thumbs up. I think that Mitch was a thumbs down. I think that Mason Rudolph was a thumbs up. And I think that Morgan was a thumbs down. Morgan looked really bad against the 5th team of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, you don't expect much from this guy. He's coming in as a rookie. He doesn't know, but there was quite a few mistakes on his part. Also, Mitch, I think he threw an interception. The couple other plays during his time in there, I thought, but again, he's a veteran. He's going to be able to pick up.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph, I can't say enough. This guy, he had a great performance. I don't have his numbers directly in front of me, but I know that they were good because he hit Calvin Austin for 67 yards on one play.
Yeah, he had 132 yards, 7 of 12.
So overall, I give this quarterback room an A-, only because of how well the guys that did well did. Again, I'm gonna kind of just put Morgan aside because he's probably not going to be here.
It wasn't bad though. 5 of 8.
Yeah,
he did have a pick. Not bad for his first
performance. Like when you're watching, you're just watching for certain body language. I wasn't real comfortable, but again, you're not supposed to be real comfortable with him.
Yeah,
guys, what do you give these quarterbacks for last night?
Yeah, like A-. That's fair. For Mitch, what was the guys that are out there too, like him, that whole offense, you can tell that I think him and that group haven't worked a lot together. Where you can tell it was a little but I think Trubisky, we saw, you know, Mitch plays the way Mitch plays.
Mitch is going to be Mitch.
You're going to have good. You're going to have bad,
right.
and
I don't think there's so much of an upside to Mitch Trubisky. I think Mitch is going to be Mitch.
Yeah, you know where you're getting from.
You know what you're getting.
I like him as a backup. There's a lot worse quarterbacks to have as a backup.
Absolutely, we have a nice.
I think was but
we have a nice QB room.
I give last night's performance like an A.
Derpy, what do you think? What's your grade on these quarterbacks?
A minus.
All right, so I think we all agree on that.
But let's move. I mean, last night, Mason might have won QB2. Might have.
I think so. Based on what happened last night, I would say, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that Mitch kind of has that position solidified, unless something crazy happens.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I think Mitch still sits in that second spot pretty comfortably. Let's go to running backs. As Mike mentioned earlier in the show, Najee, and then I added on Jaylen Warren. I think both of these. I know Najee had one play where he was active. And then there was also and then Jaylen Warren, I think he had 2 carries. I don't have the numbers in front of me at the moment.
About
3 carries. And then they really went hard on McFarland, which I thought this kid really improved from last season. This isn't the guy I remember seeing in the preseason. Of course, he does play well in preseason, but if this guy continues to play like he played last night, look for a future from him. If not here, somewhere one day, because he looked damn good. My running back. Oh, my running back grade. Of course, we didn't play our starters. McFarland looked good. I'm gonna give it a B. I wanted to see the other guys play. Should I be surprised? It's preseason, no. But from what I saw from the running backs last night, it was a healthy B. Mike?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with B too. But once you get down to people like Greg Bell was in there.
Yeah. I mean, these guys don't.
It's like around. So. I was like, I don't want to crap on the guy because he made it into the league at least.
Right.
Made it more than me. So
but those 3 guys that we named, I mean, these are going to be the guys that are on the roster come week 1.
I'm going to go B+. I like the way they were running.
B. Derpy, what do you think? What's your grade on these running backs?
B.
Safe. I think that's pretty safe. Let's go to tight end. Freiermuth has a nice catch in the first quarter. Washington has a nice catch. Gentry gets a little playing time. Connor Hayward has a couple nice catches, and even the gentleman that Mike mentioned yesterday, I can't think of his name. Yeah. So the tight ends were solid. They didn't make any big plays. So for that, it's going to be basically like my running back room. Maybe a little less because again, McFarland was able to continue to make plays. So I'm going to go with the B-, but it's a healthy B-. There's nothing. Don't put too much thought into that minus. It's a healthy B.
I'm going to go a little higher grade. I'm going to go B+.
Okay.
Darnell Washington on one Jaylen, I think it was Jaylen Warren's run. He just collapsed the whole side of the
he
line.
Looked so freaking big.
He helped open up a big hole. Everyone did what they needed to do out of the tight end room, what was asked of them. So I give it a solid B+.
Derpy, tight ends.
I'm gonna go B.
Okay. We're gonna move on to the wide receivers, guys. Calvin Austin. What more can you say about this guy? Pickens, what more can you say? DJ, what more can you say? I mean, for the guys that are going to be on this team, the guys that are going to be a part of this team, guys that are going to be making plays on this team, they all look great. 63-yard touchdown. Pickens, 33-yard touchdown. DJ, 3 for 3. You can't complain about anything there. Cody White is going to be gone. So for the guys that matter, I give them a big red A.
Yep. Because
you can't get any more perfect than what those 3 guys did. And everybody else, again, they don't matter. They're not going to be here. Gunner, he even had a nice catch and play further in the second half. I got to give the wide receivers an A. There's no way that you could give anything less than an A to these wide receivers. There's no answers to why that would be.
Yeah, I'm going A as well because, like you said, like the top guys on the team. I'm looking right now. Deontay, 3 catches, 30 yards. On 3 targets. Pickens, he had 1 target because I was like, it's Pickens playing. And as soon as I said that, I see him running downfield for a touchdown. So that's a great eye opener right there to let you know, yes, I am playing, sir. in PA. I am here for you. So yeah, A for that group. A for the top guys.
Derpy, receivers.
A- because DJ didn't score a touchdown.
It's always going to be a minus till that touchdown is scored, huh?
I hope he
Yes,
has
it
like
will
20
be.
touchdowns.
I hope he has 10 touchdowns.
Deontay be like, or Derpy be like, well, he didn't have 21.
Yeah. Offensive line, with the exception of Kendrick Green, of course, I thought the offensive line looked damn good. They kept, for the most part, our quarterbacks upright. Getting later into the game is when you start to see collapse in the offensive line. It's going to be a minus or a B plus. And again, the only reason is how bad Kendrick Green played.
Yeah, I'm going B plus as well.
Derpy O-line.
B plus.
All right. Let's hop over to the other side of the ball. The defensive line. I think the big hit here, again, I don't know the depth of it. I don't know the details, but Keanu Benton is what scares me because there's such potential for this guy. They just talk about how he could get in there and do so much to disrupt.
And he did.
And he did.
He did.
He left with his ankle injury. We don't know the extent of that at the moment. The guys that matter, Okunjobi, Cam Hayward, all these guys, they didn't play. But from what I saw last night, they were able to hold the run in check. They didn't get to the quarterback as much as I thought they would. Again, the linebackers did.
Mm-hmm.
And but what I saw from the guys that were in there, minus the blow, take away the blow of Benton, Loudermilk looked good. I'm gonna give it a B minus just because, again, I think that the depending on the outcome of the Benton injury, I think that could be costly. But you know what, I can't. You're trying not to give them the best grades possible because you don't think, I didn't think that the defensive line deserved the best grades possible. But again, they played good, they played well enough. There wasn't many mistakes that you could sit there and go, well, this is the reason. Yeah. So I'm going to go with a B minus on this offensive line, C plus. But again, that's just lack of maybe getting the extra things done, getting to the quarterback, making some extra plays outside of what you're expected to do, things like that. So that's where I'm going with my defensive line. Sorry.
Like, see, I'm looking right now. Like, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs of 4 yards or more, and that's like, I'm going to give them a C plus.
Okay.
Yeah, we held the overall rushing to 66 yards, but there were a couple, like I said, at least 6 big runs in there that were nice, healthy runs. So it's going to make me a C plus for these guys.
Derpy, your defensive line.
But we're expected for the guys who.
I'm going to go with yours.
Okay.
Ryan.
All right. Sounds good. Let's move into the inside linebackers. These guys here, Mike, Derpy.
Do we even need to
you know what? I thought Robinson looked. I mean, the licks he was putting on people. He's the guy in question. This Mark Robinson. Yeah. I thought he looked solid. I thought he looked solid when he was in. I thought that Alexander was he using the hit stick all night. I think that inside linebacker group looks a lot more impressive than they looked last year. And I didn't even recall seeing, Landon Roberts, I seen at the beginning of the game. It was, did he even play?
He played 2 snaps.
Okay.
I know of, and that was about it.
From what I've seen from this inside linebacker position, they look good. I'm going to give them a solid. You know what? I gave him a solid B plus. But Quan Alexander hit it and it moved into the A. It's an A minus.
I hate you. I'm going solid B plus.
All right. Derpy.
A minus.
Outside linebacker. Marcus Golden made a play early in the game. And boy, did it look strong. It was a strong play. Herbig coming out to the outside, basically turning into a little TJ Watt. The outside linebackers, from what I've seen, and this doesn't include your superstars. This doesn't include your TJ Watt. This does include your Alex Highsmith. So what I've seen from these guys, I give them a B plus. I want to give them an A because of, like I said, Herbig did go outside the box.
Yeah.
He did, make some big plays. but it was just kind of a lack of an outside linebacker observation. There wasn't, it didn't overwhelm me. It didn't take me to that A, but Herbig's performance alone and that one play by Golden, like I said, it puts it at a really, really solid B plus.
Yeah, because just going through, man, you double checking the stat sheet after what's in the game. He's like Quincy Roche. He also had a sack.
Did he get hurt too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be mistaken, but I don't remember him getting hurt. I'm going B as well. There were nice plays that were being made. Guys that you're hoping, like Roche. He was like a former draft pick of ours who went Giants and back here. There's kind of what you expect to see out of him at this point in his career. He came in and made some plays. So I'm going to go just a B.
Outside linebackers, Derby.
B plus.
All right. Let's go to defensive backs. A lot was left to be desired. I wanted to see more. I needed to see Joey Porter. I needed to see Pat Pete. I needed to see, you don't have your starting safeties. So, I mean, for considering who was actually playing, well, like I said, think of who your starters are. Think of who your people are going to be playing. Look at who was actually in there against, Baker Mayfield. Say what you will. I think the guy is a good quarterback. And I thought that the defensive secondary held up good for who was in there. Again, you look at these names, some of these guys are like, who? I mean, you recognize your Pierre, of course, but everybody outside of that, you didn't get to see much of the guys you wanted to see. I think we'll see them more next week. But for what it's worth, the secondary held their own. I'm going to give them a B minus.
I'm going with C plus here. We gave up almost 300 yards passing. They had 2 touchdowns.
Who's that guy that Trenton Thompson had a nice interception?
Yeah, he had a nice interception. Yeah, we did pick him off. I'm not discounting that, but we did. Their quarterbacks, 256 yards after sacks totals were taken out, 2 touchdowns and a pick. I'm going, C plus.
C plus. Derby.
Who were the corners again? Who were the corners?
Everyone but
Yeah, I mean, really, literally,
and,
if you pull the name,
I don't remember.
And Levi Wallace.
Sullivan was out there. I remember.
Sullivan was out there.
Yeah,
he was nice. Was Riley one or is he safety?
Riley had a couple good plays.
So I'm gonna go B minus.
It wasn't terrible. You know what? It wasn't terrible, but again, it's there's so much left to be desired because every single person in a secondary, with the exception of Pierre, is going to be not playing much or even involved on this team after a couple of weeks. So for what we got, I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like we were getting burnt. The plays that we were giving up. I mean, they were respectable passing plays.
I'm gonna go B minus.
Derpy, Mike, what about special teams? Braden Mann, Potter.
For the kicking, for punting, kicking.
There was no mistakes. I mean,
mistakes. Yeah,
they did everything they had to do. Potter went 2 for 2 on field goals and 3 for 3 on extra points. Man booted the ball way well. I don't think there's anything that could.
Yeah, I'm gonna go B.
I mean,
let's go A. Let's go A. Let's go A.
A solid B plus, solid A minus for me.
Yeah.
Coaching. How do we feel that the coaching did? How do we feel that the offensive game plan looked? How do we feel that the defense looked comparable to last year? How do we feel, overall coaching? I had no complaints. They put together a great game plan. And I'll say this one more time. Yes, it was preseason game 1, but for what it was, so everybody else is also playing preseason game 1. So I'm going to say that this coaching, there's no reason to give them anything but an A. Not that I'm blown away by what happened, but you know what? I'm satisfied. I think that what this coaching staff did to prepare for this game deserves nothing less than an A. I mean, the game was a good game. And, like I said, pick some things out that you would think bring that down and I might listen. But I think safely you could give your coaches an A in this game.
Me too. I liked everything that I saw. There was no stupid calls. So
No.
I'm down for it, man. Give them an A.
I almost forgot that Canada was even on the team.
I knew Canada was on the team. Canada was out there calling a damn good game.
Look at him, huh? You signed one toilet at training camp, and now all of a sudden,
Well, this is how it's going to go. all the players do good at offense. Like, oh, who's that offensive coordinator? They do bad. Oh, that offensive coordinator sucks.
Yeah.
I just hope he's consistent this year.
Yeah. I mean, it is 1-1. So, Derby, what do you think on these coaches? What do you give them? Offense, defense, special teams, the whole package.
The whole package. I'm gonna go B+.
All right. And finally, overall, how do you feel this morning about this game? I watched it live time. I taped it. I went back and watched the second time as I was falling asleep just to get a better feel. Overall, about this game last night, 1-1. What's your grade? I give him an A. This game deserved an A. There was nothing in this game. And again, this is preseason. This is your second, third, fourth stringers.
Yeah.
This is guys that aren't going to be on the team. This is guys on the other team that aren't going to be on the team. But for what it was and the performance that we put out, that was an A. It was an A. I am satisfied this morning, and I look forward to everything getting better moving forward. So what's that tell you?
I'm giving this game an A.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, there's nothing we can really bitch about.
No, I can. Trust me, I can.
You can, but
I can. I can.
Person, Derby, what do you think about the overall performance? The overall in this game. What's your grade?
I'm gonna go A- because that call against Kwame was BS.
Okay, I think so.
That's just how I feel.
And I think that they kind of gave Tampa Bay the touchdown on the touchdown catch in the back of the end zone. The second foot certainly looked like it was on the white line. They didn't go into great detail to keep showing us the videos.
I'm watching it right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's
we need more
reviews.
It's
hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
The catch,
super zoom in. Catch. It's
that second foot.
Yeah.
You're looking for the green between the white and white. All I seen was white and white. Pomp and Batch didn't go into great detail. I don't know what that was about. They hurried it up and said it's a touchdown. So again, I don't know what that is. It's preseason.
I think in preseason they don't have a lot of all the cameras and technology there.
Yeah.
That they normally
so that was questionable. I think that the game should have ultimately been 27-10.
We were robbed.
I didn't think
we won, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. There are people that are going to be pissed, though. There's people that are going to be pissed today because of
people
that.
that bet on this are pissed that touchdown stood.
Yeah.
So here we got over to the games yesterday. The Steelers, they win over Tampa Bay 27-17. The Falcons beat the Dolphins 19-3. The Packers beat the Bengals 36-19. Lions beat the Giants 21-16. Washington beats the Browns 17-15. And finally, the Cardinals beat the Broncos 18-17. Games today, the early games, Titans versus the Bears. Anybody on them teams you want to see? That's one of the first games. Also, early game, Colts and Bills. I want to see what this Bills is going to put out on the field today. Kind of give you a little bit of an idea what you're going to see next week. Jets and Panthers. I like this Jets team this year. There's some things that I'm going to keep an eye on in that game. Jaguars and Cowboys, two teams that I could give shit less about. Eagles and Ravens. Come on, Eagles and Ravens. Who's not going to want to watch this game? I mean, and then finally the Chargers and Rams are the late game out west. So we've got a lot of good football left, guys. We had a great game last night. We still have a lot of football, a couple games tomorrow. And I can't. There's not much more I could say, Mike. I'm so excited.
No, I'm scrolling Twitter right now, watching all the highlights from that we watched last night. I'm just watching Keanu Benton just totally destroyed their center over and over. I'm excited. I want game 2 to happen today.
Yeah, I want them to happen for the next 19 days. I just
like 95 people on a roster. You can play.
That's what I want. I want the 49ers.
Yeah. Just because we have to. Pirates lose to the Reds 9-2. Pirates drop to 52-64. Oviedo throws 5 innings, gives up 5 hits, 6 earned runs, gives 2 walks, 4 Ks. Brian Hayes' streak is still going. He has a home run in this game yesterday. Big Stacks has 2 hits. Hitters 6 through 9 had no hits in the lineup. Game 2 is today at 7:05. For the Pirates, Andre Jackson with a 0-0 record, but a 5.16 ERA and 23 Ks is up against left-hander Brandon Williamson. For the Reds, he's 4-2 with a 4.54 and 64 Ks on the season. Guys, I got for the trivia today,
Yeah.
It's a preseason trivia question.
Ooh.
Steeler preseason trivia question.
Ooh.
You guys ready?
I am ready.
All right. Here we go. What was the Steelers preseason record the last season they qualified for the playoffs? I'm going to help you here for a second.
Ooh.
Okay, so bear with me. Question again. What was the Steelers preseason record the last season they qualified for the playoffs? Now, this is the season they did play the Hall of Fame game against the Cowboys. I am going to disqualify that game. That game does not count. So it is because it doesn't count. So the 3 games that they played in the preseason that year, what was the Pittsburgh Steelers preseason record? Last year, you got to remember, they went 3-0. But I'm looking for the last season that they went to the playoffs. What was their preseason record that year? Go ahead and think that over, guys. We are live. We're live 7 days a week, everybody, from Monday to Sunday, every week, every day, 11:30 a.m. right here. If you don't catch this, or you just would rather listen to the show on podcast, the new show that we do every day gets uploaded over on Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. Brand new show every day. Spotify, 8 o'clock. Check it out. All right, fellas, the question of the day is this. What was the Steelers' preseason record the last season they qualified for the playoffs? It was the season they played the Hall of Fame game, but I only want to know the record for the 3 preseason games. I'm going to start with Mike. Mike, what do you think?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Is this your final answer?
Final answer.
All right. Derpy, what was the Steelers' preseason record the last season the Steelers qualified for the playoffs? I'm looking for a 3-game record.
I want to go with 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Is this your final answer?
Yep.
All right, so we got Derpy locked in on a 1 and 2, Mike on a 1 and 2. Question of the day, everybody, is what was the Steelers' preseason record the last season the Steelers qualified for the playoffs? Both Derpy and Mike chose 1 and 2. Of course, the answer, guys, is 2 and 1. They went 2 and 1 that season in the preseason. And they qualified for the playoffs that year. So there you go, guys.
I was close.
Yeah, you wasn't a terrible pick.
I was off by a game.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Mike, anything before we get ready to take off for today?
Enjoy the win. Just remember, though, it is just preseason. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Week 1 is the week to overreact of real football. Real football week 1, that's when you flip out. That's when I'm planning to flip out either way.
Real quick, I do want to say Bird, the guy that was returning punts and kicks.
Oh, God, he's
terrible. I want to see Calvin Austin. Now, who knows what's going to happen with Calvin, if he's going to get more offense playing time. And if he does, that's probably going to take away from returning time. But I hope in one of these next 2 games, we get to see Calvin Austin do some returning as well in special teams. I think that's going to be something to see. But I just seen it in my notes, forgot about that. Derby, anything else before we take off?
Here's a new nickname. I found this out the other day on another podcast. Kenny Pickett to George Pickens. GPS.
Okay.
If you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
GPS.
If you know, you know. What I do have to say is the Pirates are still 10.5 games out. So if you want to still, they're dead to me. I'm telling you right now, after I seen what I seen last night, and then I flipped over to check the Pirates score, the Pirates are dead to me. I'm gonna keep it simple, keep it short with these guys, but the Steelers are the big thing. It's Steelers season now again till, hopefully till February. 29 days till the opener against the San Francisco 49ers in Pittsburgh. 29 days, guys. We have 2 more preseason games, Buffalo next week. And then again, 29 days from right now, we're going to be opening up the season against San Francisco.
I can't wait.
I got to continue to improve.
Absolutely. And I think that this team is in the right place mentally. I feel that they're working really hard. I do believe these guys are working really hard. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you, of course.
Sweet
for Mike, for the show, for Mike, Derpy, myself. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you.